Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Bad Movies Rule the Worst Movie Podcast ever recorded. And today, guys, we're taking a charter down to the Caribbean, and we may never come back. Welcome in, guys. I just want to say, first of all, thanks for choosing us. We know you guys have got a lot of entertainment options these days, and if you're new, this is a comedy podcast, and we largely target movies that are deemed bad in one way or another, either by critics or by people or by box office. We'll go scene by scene, roasting it as we go. Yes, even the ones we love, we give equal treatment to. So stick around, because at the end of the show, we're going to shower this movie with awards, and the actors too, even though some of them might not be awards that they would want to win. And we're going to decide once and for all, is this movie good, horrible, or a bad movie that rules? We're talking about McHale's Navy today, the 1997 classic, hilarious comedy starring Tom Arnold.
Oh, not the 1962 version?
No, well, Ernest Borgnine's in this version.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
So it's a continuation of that one.
That's what I hear.
It's got Bruce Campbell, and that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
Not a French Stewart fan, I take it.
Oh, it's, I mean, you know,
Tim Curry.
Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell. Thank you. I'm just suddenly drawing a blank.
Tommy Chong.
All I can think about is Tom Arnold. You know how terrifying that is?
David Allen Greer.
You try and access other thoughts, and all your brain is going, Tom Arnold.
Well,
I mean, you got that moment where Lopan meets up with Cecil from Mr. Deeds.
That's awesome.
Jeez. Yeah, lots all kinds of people. It's like, it's the B team. Maybe it's the C team or the D team. When like you're gonna make a studio comedy in the mid '90s, this is like your third string players. Because if you're making like a first string starters, we're talking about the Ben Stillers, the Jim Carreys of the world, right?
right.
Sure.
By the time you get to like Tom Arnold and Dean Stockwell, no offense to them,
This is like the Cleveland Browns, man.
At least we didn't get down to the double D team.
that's true. It's a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. 3. 1, 2, 3. There is one positive review on Rotten Tomatoes. So right now, there's one person keeping it from being a 0. And that person's name is Marianne Johansson. And Marianne, who wrote for Flick Philosopher, is the one reputable person, and I say reputable in that they've gotten a platform on Rotten Tomatoes, that has given this a positive review. She's the only one standing between 0
and
Flick?
3%.
Wait,
3%.
the company she worked for is called Flick Philosopher.
Yeah, Flick is in a movie, not Flick is in like
not like
Flicky
not like
Nuts or
Flick the
something.
Bean.
No. Bob, I'm gonna break this button already. Bob.
I'm glad I brought extra water today.
Yeah. So here's what I'm like, well, I gotta dig into this person's credibility. So sorry, we're not trying to put Mary Ann Johansson on the blast here, but
Hey, Johansson.
Email the show. We know you're listening.
we know you're listening, Mary
We
Ann.
know you love garbage.
Or don't email the show because no
You
one
know how
cares.
we know she loves garbage? Because I dug into her. I did a little, you know how we never do research?
Yeah.
First time ever, it made
James,
my
you're
head hurt.
married.
She gave McHale's Navy. She gave McHale's Navy a good rating.
Okay.
But how good of a rating?
I don't know, a fresh rating.
Did she say-
she said it was fresh.
She said,
Got it.
meh.
It was, and she gave Top Gun a rotten score.
Which Top Gun?
The first one. The OG Top
The
Gun.
OG Top Gun. Okay.
So she said Top Gun sucked, but McHale's Navy, thumbs up.
There's no credibility there. That's impossible.
I mean, I got to question my credibility then. I mean, because there's some movies I give the thumbs down where I should be giving the
It's,
thumbs up.
All right, let's dive into this movie. But like I said, we're gonna hit the highlights here, people. Both of them. Both of them.
But we're glad you enjoyed the show. See you later.
The movie starts off with some international bad guys. And if you really want international bad guys, who do you hire?
Not white people.
Lopan.
James Hong and Eric Avari is his actual name. But yeah, the guy from
Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's
also
been in like everything as a terrorist.
yes, he
The
was
number
in the,
one actor to play an Arabian terrorist.
He was in The Mummy. He was a good guy in The Mummy.
He was a good guy in The Mummy. He was
Right.
in Mr. Deeds, like Kurt said. Yeah.
But usually, yes, international bad guys. You get Eric Avari and you get
James Hong.
and you get, and then this other guy. I was like, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Whoever that third
Who
guy
was
was.
he?
stinking
The
up
one that
the
was like an actual serious
You're
actor?
fogging up the lenses on this camera. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Random
Just-
German guy number 3.
Honestly. And then out of nowhere, airdrops Tim Curry. And I'm like, all right, we got James Hong, Eric Avari, Tim Curry. Let's go. I thought we were in good shape right off the bat.
I did too.
Right?
I did, and I was excited for it.
Wasn't he in Home Alone 2 as well?
Tim Curry was.
Yeah, he had one of the best scenes on Home Alone 2.
You.
We love you.
Yes.
I love you.
Get on your knees and tell me you love me.
Clue.
That's right.
I'm not shouting. All right, I am. I'm shouting. I'm shouting. I'm shouting.
I mean, he was also in Muppet Treasure Island.
Even
Yes.
if so, it'd be 2 + 1 + 1 + 1. So he shows up in this, and right off the bat, they establish this thing where he's upset that he's only ranked number 2
with the
with the
extreme
terrorist.
eye roll.
with the extreme. He's number 2 terrorist in the world, and I just keep thinking, where are these terrorist rankings kept, and who keeps them? Right? Is there a website, or how do you find out who the number 1 terrorist is? How do you become the number 1 terrorist?
Terrorrankings.gov.
Terrorrankings.gov, is that it?
Back then, before the internet, was there just like a place you go and it's hanging in a
There's
bar
like
somewhere?
there's like a newsletter that circulates.
Yeah.
Right?
You just sign up for it.
Be like, oh man, I'm up to number 2 now.
It's like an HOA pamphlet that's in your mailbox.
Is it by body count? Property damage? How do they rank
If that's the
terrorists?
case, then Stallone and Schwarzenegger would just be on the number 1 top of the list for body count.
They never said who number 1 was. Number 1 was Stallone from Cobra. That's what it was. He's really upset about it. So this
At
whole
the back of TV Guide.
yeah. The next thing, terrorist rankings on the back of TV.
It's like on the inside back page.
Right on the inlet next to the soap news.
That's when your turd goes an extra inning in the bathroom. You just flip it over and start reading that.
If it gets that far, you're like reading the shampoo bottle at that point. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
back
I
then, before the internet.
I didn't know there was polyoxide in this.
What? Rinse and repeat? I didn't know I could do that.
What is this magic? What is this voodoo?
We get a chance now after this to see where the good guys live. So we get the bad guys. We introduce them. We have no idea what they're doing. They're just like, oh, look at us. We're a bunch of bad guys.
They're henching.
They're definitely henching.
Lots of henching.
Henching all over the
Lots of henching
place.
in this movie.
Then we go to the naval base, except it's like the Swiss Family Robinson version of a naval base. They got like elevators made out of palm trees and stuff. And
Budget cuts.
Budget cuts.
I thought that was pretty wild, though.
And we're introduced. This is the part of the movie where, like, here's the crew, right? We got French Stewart who sleeps up in a tree. We've got this guy,
Parker.
Christie. I'm sorry, no, yeah. Who's Parker's?
Parker trying to hang the flag.
Yeah, David Allen Greer,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Campbell's basically telling a story about him hooking up with 3 chicks at the same time.
Yeah, and then he wrote
Penthouse letters.
Penthouse
wrote a letter.
letters.
Yeah,
That's it.
And Brian Haley's doing some iron, benching some
Yeah,
iron.
and here's the thing. I believed his story, Bruce Campbell. I was like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I would believe it too. You don't question the chin. That chin was forged on the mountains of awesome and manscaping. All right.
Forged on the mountains of awesome. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
there on the mountain of awesome, he was cut from the very living rock.
It was cut from a rock. It was cut from a rock. Some poor,
be known forth as Bruce
some
Campbell.
poor short man had to carve that chin out of stone.
Have you never heard the history of Bruce Campbell?
No, tell
There's
me.
a song about it by Psycho Stick, actually.
Is there really?
Yes.
It's true.
It's true. It's amazing.
There's a song about Bruce Campbell?
Yes.
An amazing song about Bruce Ash Campbell.
Sing it.
Bruce Campbell, dirt, 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 dirt. I'm sorry, Psycho Stick. That's the best I can do right off the bat here.
Oh God, that's good.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
Dirt, 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 dirt.
here's what Bruce Campbell is the only reason I watched this movie. So I remember seeing this one time back in the 90s. And I remembered almost nothing about it other than I had just watched Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. And I was like trying to see what other movies from Bruce Campbell I could see.
Sure.
And so he's the only reason that I even pushed play on this thing all those years ago. Imagine my disappointment when he's so rarely featured in this movie. I know he's in a lot of scenes, but he's not usually doing much of anything.
It should have been swapped. It should have been,
He should have been McHale.
or it should have been Tom Arnold being Cobra, and it's McHale's Navy, but it's about the crew. Because I think, to me, the crew was a lot more fun to watch than Tom Arnold.
100%. Would you guys have been down for a Bruce Campbell as McHale in this movie?
Bringing it up now? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
would have been 10 times better.
Well, maybe 5.5.
Well, if it's the same script, probably not much better at all, actually. But like, you know,
It definitely would have grossed $10 million.
Maybe.
I think it would have been more entertaining at that point.
Oh, absolutely. If you focus more on the crew and let all their antics happen more than you focus on Tom Arnold.
They would have had to pay full price for the chin, though.
The full price for the chin at that point wasn't that much money. I mean, he hadn't led any movies other than the Army of Darkness.
This is around the time he was on Briscoe County Jr.
Right.
On the USA Network.
Yeah, exactly. This is when, we might as well just bring up this guy now because we've just been talking about him. This is when we meet McHale. And so Tom Arnold makes his appearance, and basically the way they establish his character is like, he's got the stuff you need. He sells him the ice cream and the booze, and he's like a bootlegger /
contraband smuggler.
Thank you. And
he's got the old Navy boat. He's got complete with hammock and stationary bike.
It's like a houseboat.
Yeah. There's like a gun on it, but it's got like decorations hanging off of it and stuff.
Like
right?
Got a luau hanging out on his boat.
He's got an ice cream racket going.
Yeah.
He's ripping these soldiers off at the same time as he's like giving them contraband.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
he has his own beer made after him.
He's got his own island.
But just in case you might start to think he's a shady dude, they go to great lengths to go like, what a great guy he is. Look, he gives medicine to the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
He coaches Little League.
He gives him half a pair of clothes.
Isn't they?
Next week, go get pants.
But not you, random white kid in the middle of the Caribbean.
No, your clothes look good, man. You keep it up. You keep it up.
All right. So after we've met
the Caribbean or the Caribbean?
Yes.
Did you guys ever watch Quantum Leap back in the day?
Yeah.
No. You did? Okay. I loved Quantum Leap. I mean, I would catch the reruns and stuff.
That was the guy that like time jumped?
Yeah, Scott Bakula. And the guy that was like his buddies was Dean Stockwell. And so, again, I saw Dean Stockwell show up. All of a sudden, here he is on this like what appears to be a big, large ship.
A big naval base of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And he's got the binoculars, and here he is with Deborah Messing, and they're coming in to shape up this crew. Was it Binghamton?
Binghamton, yeah.
Binghamton.
Captain
Binghamton. And Deborah Messing, who...
Lieutenant Carpenter.
At this point, Lieutenant Carpenter. What do you say it like that? Lieutenant Carpenter.
I swab her deck.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, that checks out.
Polish her turrets.
What do you guys think of Dean Stockwell's performance as Binghamton? Because, as I said, when I saw him, I was excited. But then he opened his mouth.
I hated him so much.
Yeah.
But he did it so well, like to the point where he was hateable.
He was hateable for sure.
And
well, and that's what they wanted, right?
yeah, they wanted this.
They wanted him to be a jerk.
Right.
And they wanted you to hate him.
Yes, you're
Mission
both right.
accomplished.
But the thing is, and maybe it's just because I've heard him.
Was it
so
too
much
annoying?
He did this voice. It's not his real voice.
Yeah, it was a little bit nasally and whiny.
Yeah, and it just, well, look at these guys. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to shape this place. And I'm like, what are you doing, Dean? Just talk with your normal voice. And everything he did, his reactions were so big.
Yeah.
Right?
Over the top.
Way over the top.
To prepare for this movie, he actually shadowed a captain in a naval ship for, I think it was a year and a half.
There's no way.
You're right.
I was just saying maybe a week or two, but a year and a half, absolutely not.
Mal selling it. I was going to say my point on this, and I was going to bring it up later, but
Sure.
I think because it's modeled after a TV show, there seems to be that bit of TV cheesiness that they bring from the TV show over into these movies. And I feel like it doesn't work.
It does.
Because it's a big budget flick.
100%.
It's not like for a half-hour show. Absolutely hilarious.
Network comedies are meant
I'm
to
going to go
be-
eat dinner now.
Yeah, network comedies are meant to play broad, big, not risk-takey laughs with a little bit of cheese. It's a different...
And it's supposed to be over the top.
It's a totally different style of comedy. Dean Stockwell is doing something almost like theatrical. Like you're on stage, you got to play it where the people in the back row can still see you.
Right.
So everything's got to be bigger and more animated and stuff. But a lot of the stuff in this is like, for example, here I'll go to it now. Later on in the movie, when they go to McHale to try and get him to do the mission, and they're in the jail cell with him.
Yes.
He turns them down and leaves, and they end up locked in the cell.
Yes.
And the way he plays that moment, he's like, "We don't need McHale. Well, I could do this mission with my eyes closed."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the
I'm
door
just like-
shuts on him and he does the whole like
I want to say this. He did.
Are we locked in here?
Yeah.
McHale!
I will say
I'm exaggerating.
Well, his
a little
eyes
bit,
kind of followed the bar. He was like, kind of did the like,
the cross-eye thing. Like,
oh,
yeah. And you're like, all right.
I will
Like,
say this.
I get it.
He did set up one of the best line of the whole movie when he walks into the barracks
Tell
for the
me.
checkup. And he goes, "Suck it in, soldier. I'm totally sucked, sir."
that was actually a good line.
That was funny.
Yeah, so
But
that's
again,
where we
that
are.
goes back to your point of saying that the guys that are a part of the crew are much more entertaining in
Yes.
this movie than
The crew's
anybody
great.
around them. Right.
Sure. All right. Anyway, Tim Curry shows up at McHale's house right at the same time he's finding out about what's the guy's name? I can't you call him Tim Curry. It's Vladikov. Vladikov. Thank you. And Vladikov shoots a missile into the side of his house and blows a hole in the side of his house.
That's usually how you say hello to people in Russian or
And
German.
he pops out. Now, I thought Tim Curry's boat was cool as hell in this movie, minus one piece of it. But when he's got like the Batmobile top that like, scoots forward and he stands up.
It looks like Colonel Guile's boat from Street Fighter.
Yeah, but Tim Curry looks kind of badass standing up in that boat, right?
It looked like the Colonel Guile boat from Street Fighter. He's driving down the river, except they removed the obnoxious fins in the back.
Yeah,
those
the back
spoilers,
fins.
the back fins, and just painted silver. And you're like, here you go.
McHale walks over to the hole in his house like, oh, that's weird.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes to draw a firearm out of the filing cabinet next door. Yeah.
pulls out his television remote.
Yeah.
I'm looking everywhere for this.
Yeah. And
of the
then
few good
tosses it. Doesn't even I need this for later.
They have this little face off,
And he's a horrible shot.
he can't hit
No.
anything. Ding, 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 ding.
I'll just keep following up the boat. I'll hit him.
Good bullet, Squibs.
Ultimately, Tim Curry fires another missile.
Yeah, with the
him.
great line of "stand by for further air conditioning."
Stand by for further air conditioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Curry, I liked his performance. I'm not going to rip it. Okay, one of the few good ones in the movie. But his accent shifted throughout the movie.
absolutely.
Sometimes he was really Russian. Sometimes he was German.
He was trying to play three countries: Austrian, German, and Russian.
That's why he was number 2.
Oh, that's
why.
possible.
You couldn't tell.
Us, the number one terrorist, can do all the accents. Yes.
All of them.
Don't judge me, David. You're hindering my spiritual growth.
That's right. That was totally German, right? But then later on, he's Russian, and I'm like, Tim, just dude,
Pick one.
Pick one.
Where
buddy.
is my vodka?
I don't care. You can say you're from Russia and have a German accent. I will go with you on it. I don't care. But just pick one, and let's do that one.
I
was-
will
he was,
say I did enjoy the "what a dick" line.
Well, so yeah, that's fine. You mean when the missile's coming at him?
Yeah, and he's like, "What a dick."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. My problem is like the fact that here's a missile coming at you and
Yeah.
you're just standing there so you can crack a line and
Yep.
then jump out the window.
Well, we talk about that all the time in these movies. It's
know.
it's like you're getting ready and set for death, and you're gonna crack jokes.
Seriously.
You know, like
So unrealistic.
that's so unrealistic.
Dick.
It's a James Bond thing to do.
Yeah.
James Bond invented that.
How about that green screen action with him on the pig going down the zip
Oh,
line?
that was great.
Trying to do the Stallone run to the zip line, but nothing but Jello, baby.
All right, so you had mentioned keep doing it while I tell this part. You had mentioned earlier about Tom Arnold and why or where he was in his career at this point.
Yeah.
He had only really done True Lies in
Okay.
94.
All right,
Like 3
and
years
I
earlier.
loved him in that.
He had
so
done other
we can talk
movies.
about that later. But
We'll talk about it later. But
Yeah.
he had done other movies, but that was like the only other action chops he had.
Mm.
And now all of a sudden he's, like you said, doing the Stallone run away from an exploding house with a pig under one arm.
Yeah, pig under one arm. He's just running.
It's
I'll
like,
save you, pig.
it's like his honeymoon photos.
It's exactly what it was like.
Yes, he's married to Roseanne. Arnold.
looked,
Yeah, at that
it looked
time,
like
yeah.
it was scotch taped.
I mean, if you were married to that, I want to die too. I mean,
All right, can we talk? Let's just talk about it now because this is where they have their little boat chase, right? He jumps in his boat, Dukes of Hazzard style. They take off after each other.
Very Bruce Willis.
Very much so.
striking distance.
outrunning
Also on the
Gatling
list,
guns.
striking distance is on the list.
Can't hit him at all.
Nothing.
Following behind him with these Gatling guns.
Here's my biggest problem, and Mark Gusek also wrote in with this. I think Dave did too. What in the hell is with missiles on a boat? It seems like the dumbest thing. First of all, why don't you have freaking torpedoes? Explain that to me. You have a boat that's going like this as you're driving around, and you're going to fire, and the missiles are all like this, and then they come out and they're pointed straight at the thing. They go like 5 miles an hour, okay, towards wherever they're going for it, long enough for people to go, missiles coming. Turn the boat and get it out of the way. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just it doesn't make any sense.
The not napalm, but what are the mortar launchers?
Yeah.
I don't know the accuracy at which you can hit with those. I mean, I've never been in the military, so I don't know.
How do you feel about the missiles on the boat, Mel?
Well, they modeled them after AIM-9 Sidewinders,
Yeah.
AIM-9Ls. They're air-to-air heat-seeking missiles. Yeah, they're not.
You're not going to shoot another boat with your boat missile
But
from
they were
your other
little
boat.
mini ones too, though, and for them to go up like this and then come down, it's just
inaccurate.
hack.
It's ridiculous, right? And I know what they're trying to do, some POV shots with the missiles, but they just didn't speed up the film or something because it just makes it seem like it's going at a snail's pace.
It's like they put it on a string and just flew it with a helicopter at them.
Well, then how about the plywood boat, McHale's boat, when it got hit with the
Oh,
missile?
that's great. It just splintered.
It's like, well, I thought
Wait a
this boat was
second.
made.
What is that, made out of balsa wood? Would you build that in shop class?
I think so.
Menards. Save big money at Menards.
They have Tim Curry ride in and destroy an entire village for no reason.
No, yeah. He's like,
Remove
I feel
the
like
village.
I'm about to go to party. Yeah.
He wasn't believable enough as a bad guy, so they had to make him bad.
Right, but at this point, why is he destroying this village? What are they doing there?
To show how evil he is.
We hear you do not like us over here so close to your village, so we moved the village. And at one point, he literally went, psych!
Yes. And then he laughs and goes, I love that joke.
I don't care. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole point, the machinations of the script are terrible.
Well, and again, that goes back to what we were just saying, how when you're doing a TV movie now,
yeah.
the humor is just, like, we wouldn't, I don't know that we would have,
It's a slapstick comedy.
Exactly. We wouldn't be having a terrorist doing a psych gag.
No.
And go to shake someone's hand and do psych. I don't think they think that would be very funny at all.
No, and the whole point is simply to give McHale a reason to turn around and be like, I'm a badass now. And now I'm in, because...
Can I give you a funny moment with that, too, that I laughed about?
Please.
So they go back to his island, right?
I'll be shocked if you can find one.
So he's doing the island bit, where it's like you go back to your home and you're stewing about everything that's going on. And then
and his husk of a house where he used to live.
And the kid comes back and it's like, hey, McHale, they destroyed the city.
Yeah.
And he literally just pans and looks in his backyard and it's on like fire and smoke.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard because I go, you didn't see that walking up?
Yeah.
Like, how did you not? You didn't know then?
It's right
the kid
there.
had to point it out to you? You were so, like, you didn't drive up to your island and go, oh, crap.
McHale, they destroyed the village. Look.
McHale, they destroyed the village. The taco trucks are gone.
That's right. Up to this point, every time Deborah Messing has looked at McHale, it's been with disgust. But now, after this scene, they start to imply that she's like,
maybe there's something more here that I didn't see before.
She wants to.
Those Docker shorts, they're pretty nice looking there, Mr. McHale.
She wants him to dock.
well,
In her harbor.
here's the thing. Deborah Messing had the hardest acting job to do in this entire movie. Is that she had to act like she was into Tom Arnold.
Yes.
And that she's pulling hard.
Well,
duty.
and I can't. Mel just brought it up earlier that he was married to Roseanne. Are you telling me Roseanne's going to let him make out and kiss Deborah Messing on some?
well, I think by this point they've been divorced.
She might. Were
they've
they?
been divorced by this point.
Oh,
yes,
I thought for sure it was. That's why. Maybe Deborah Messing didn't want to. No kiss scenes with Tom Arnold.
Because there wasn't any.
Right.
I think she probably was like, no.
We're going to just be best friends in this movie. Friend zoned him.
But they imply that they're not.
Right.
Well, we'll get there. But yes. Their first mission is to go on this night mission to scope out the bad guy's base. And you're already wincing.
This is my favorite part of the movie, not the bad guy's base, but what happens in the town.
Was it the face paint?
The face paint was great.
I
the fact
love
that,
the face
The fact
paint.
that Bruce
I did
Campbell
laugh at that too.
Bruce Campbell looked like a sexy
Snidely
Frenchman.
Whiplash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looked like Snidely Whiplash, like a sexy French Canadian guy.
Yeah, Christie had like a bullseye painted on his face.
Yeah.
The
The
one guy looked like Groucho Marx.
Oh,
Yeah, and then
that
Cho
is
looked
one.
like the cat from Kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was awesome. All right, there's two funny things in this movie.
They break into the base and they steal Vladikov's vodka.
Well, they steal guns, they steal vodka. David Allen Greer
Accidentally,
trips
yeah.
over a uranium core of a nuclear
Brings it with
warhead.
him, like, I don't know.
Brings it with him.
And wasn't going to tell anybody.
No, he's like,
Yeah, just
I
keep
got
this in my
this.
pocket.
I got the core of this nuclear
Which I thought
warhead here.
I thought it would somehow be included in the plot. It wasn't. He just put the uranium core
they
in his
literally
pocket
just
and walked
ordered
away.
a new uranium core from like terrorist Amazon or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And like they just airdropped that crap.
Yeah.
Drew.
Also,
That
division
parachute
of
didn't work.
Jeff Bezos.
That's right, probably. That they just dropped that freaking thing in and it
It
crashed.
just
so
bounces
hard.
off the ground. It's like the parachute wasn't even
like,
necessary.
Ugh.
That uranium's gone now.
As far as I know, those things are really hard to get your hands on.
Nukesovernight.com.
The guy shows up with like a dolly with 5 cases of vodka on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're holding, Bruce Campbell and Christie got all these guns, and he's got the uranium core or whatever, and he's like, well, we can't keep everything. Leave the guns.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Take the vodka, leave the guns. Is like a much worse and not cool version of The Godfather.
Well, and then they make a little joke to that later because he's like, and what happened to my vodka? Has that been shipped here yet?
Right.
And he was just like, I don't know where it's at.
And this is 1 hour into the movie, and we've now just figured out that they want to steal launch codes and hijack this satellite that basically
Feckler.
a satellite.
Crap, he knows about Feckler.
It's the best Ernest Borgnine impression I've ever heard in my life.
That's pretty good.
His name back
All
in
right,
the
good Lord, let's go to
Gertrude.
Cuba. These guys go to Cuba to get some freaking materials.
coax and
We got to
monitor
get
cable.
something for Bob to
They
talk
got
about.
because the one Mexican guy's got to fix his boat or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I forget his name.
Ernesto.
whatever.
I think so.
And he's like, well, we need some supplies. So they got to go meet freaking Tommy Chong over in Cuba.
Yeah.
Tommy
And
Chong.
apropos
Armando
of
and
nothing.
Ernesto.
Just,
Armando and Ernesto?
Yes, Tommy Chong.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, right. He's twin cousins.
Yeah,
yes,
we're twin cousins.
That's
Pretty
right.
sure it's not a thing.
Yeah, we're twin cousins, man. Yeah, my dog looks just like me.
While they're in Cuba, there's all kinds of meaningless stuff.
Take that back.
And here's why I'm going to say this. This movie, I turned it on. It's an hour and 50 minutes.
You call it meaningless.
Well, and
We call it communism.
they're going there to just steal more equipment or buy more equipment so that they can override
Right.
the Russian equipment.
It's 25
Because the
more
United
minutes.
States wouldn't be able to get them the equipment they need in the amount of time to override this. So they're like, let's go
Yeah.
to Cuba.
No, I
Yeah.
get that. But do we need a 25-minute portion of the
No.
movie?
But again, it's like, well, this is where what Bob said, the crew shines, and
This is the best part of the
entertaining.
movie because
Now, had this had been
shines.
20 minutes further into the movie, like before, it would have been entertaining.
Get
But
to it.
You're
Get
like,
to it sooner.
Let's go.
Because for a big studio comedies like this, unless you're Judd Apatow and you're making these 2 hour and 15-minute comedies and they're actually good, it's got to be 90 minutes. Big studio comedies, every minute past 90, you're like overstaying your welcome. And
You got to be Paul Feig to go over 90.
that's what I'm saying. Well, not with certain movies. Bridesmaids, I don't know how long Bridesmaids was. But the point is this is almost a 2-hour freaking movie about a half an hour old school TV show.
Yeah.
It should not be. This isn't Lord of the Rings. McHale's Navy should not be almost 2 damn hours long.
That's a fair
Oh,
point.
I agree. I just think it should have been like an hour and some change, maybe an hour and 10 minutes long.
Right.
That's how all movies should be.
And this movie has the audacity,
Okay.
the unmitigated gall
Why?
God, y'all.
to be 2 hours long. It's
Water, here's a
offensive.
good fall.
It's offensive to me.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm
You seem mad. Are you okay?
I am. Now,
You pick that up.
It didn't spill. We're good.
Or the frick. All right. So they go to
fight.
They go to the bar.
Cuba, yeah. Trying to make money.
They ditch David Allen Greer.
Yep.
Yes.
Right? They tell them about the coaxial cables they have to get.
Monitor cables, yeah.
Also, they can just go party for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And French Stewart, who has never been funny in a single movie he's ever been in his entire life.
Oh, come on.
Name one.
Home Alone 4.
Name one French Stewart movie where you're like, remember that badass French Stewart scene? Remember that movie where French Stewart had me laughing my balls off?
The new Expendables.
Expendables 4.
Tell me, please. I'll wait.
I just said Home Alone 4.
Apparently, he offended a monkey.
We'd be here for 2 more hours if we waited for a French Stewart good movie to come along.
Dos margaritas, por favor. Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, that was great.
Yeah.
So the scene with him and the girl, and he's like pretending to be an actor.
Well, even the guy that was arm wrestling, he was fun.
Barman. I was just gonna say
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget 2.
Yeah.
And Inspector Gadget 2.
Yes.
Well,
Brian Daly undoing
what's
a
his name
beer
was in
bottle.
the first one wasn't even that great.
Oh, Matthew Broderick.
I said a good movie, Mel.
Good. Brian Daly walking up to the
Tell
arm
me what the Inspector Gadgets 2's IMDb rating is.
He was also in Dick.
Yeah, I know he's a dick. I'm talking about what movie has he been in.
He was also in Duck.
Dick, duck, dodge, dip, duck, and dodge.
And Dog.
The 5 Ds of French Stewart.
That's right. All right. So Bruce Campbell's pretending to be an actor or whatever with these ladies.
Yeah.
They're super into him. They should be. I believe it.
Absolutely. Look at the chin.
Look at the chin.
Look
the
at
chin
the facial hair.
wins all.
The Clark Kent hairdo.
Big chins aren't necessarily a bad thing, okay? You look at guys like Jay Leno and you look at guys like Bruce Campbell, and like it can either work for you or against you.
It could hit multiple spots on
Right.
a woman.
Seriously. And Jay Leno
Patrick Warburton falls in between those two.
Leno looks like a
tick.
bike seat, okay? Whereas Bruce Campbell
Seats 2.
Like a banana bike
looks
seat.
like a banana bike seat. But Bruce Campbell is perfectly proportioned. It works.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Brian Haley undoing the beer with his eyeball was great.
So I almost brought in beer bottles to see if
we could do this.
do it, but I was too early in the morning for me to go get beer and not be thought
I'm
to
going
be
to
a
say this,
cretin.
that had to be pre-done.
What are you doing with this, sir?
It had to be pre-done. Like, he literally just had to do it really quick.
So if I had brought it in, you would not have done it?
I would have done it, but I
Tore out his
it would
eyeball.
have tore my. I'm saying, like, it had to be like pre-popped for him to do that.
How dare you?
Oh, okay.
Doesn't work with a water bottle. Just saying.
You think Brian Haley's not capable of twisting?
No,
down?
I think he is. That's why
You just said it had to be pre-done, so it sounds like you're calling
Can you
out
guys
Brian
tell
Haley.
me what else he's been in that I might enjoy? Because he
Who?
looks familiar.
He's been in a lot of
Yeah, Brian
Little
Kelly
Giants. He's been
was
in Little
in-
Giants.
He was a
Spike.
Secret Service agent in that other movie.
I guess I could have IMDb'd it. I just
He was Mars Attacks. He
I
was a
wasn't
Secret
there.
Service
Oh,
guy. in
yes,
Mars
yes.
He was
yes.
also in Baby's Day Out, that really early.
Oh
90s.
yeah, I watched. That's a good one.
Did you watch that one?
Oh,
You're just
it's
looking
so
at me
good.
like
Yeah.
coming
With
from the guy
Vern
from
Troyer?
Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah,
You're looking
yeah,
at me like I'm a rack of yard tools.
All right,
Okay.
so they
You're
all
passing
get
judgment
into,
on me.
They all get into a big fight just so they can all get arrested because they want to make way for this hilarious bit where they dress up David Allen Greer like he's Fidel Castro.
Yes.
And bring him into the jail.
And the fact that he shakes the actual, well, not the actual, but
A lookalike.
in the story.
In
Yeah.
the story, it's Fidel Castro. That was the only enjoyable from like a comedic hijinks moment.
Sure.
There I was like, all right, this is funny. He's
You would
coming in
believe
there.
that Tom Arnold would be a
No. That was the stupidest part. Is
Side-
Tom
yeah.
Arnold's who can't act. He can't act.
Yeah.
He's terrible. Every single scene, he's like reading stereo
Cue cards.
instructions and
Yeah.
cue cards. Okay.
It's
Guess
all right.
I'm changing my top 3 performances here.
All right.
All right.
There's a flip flop ready.
And he can't even keep a straight face when he's supposed to. There's times he's supposed to be having emotional scenes with people.
Sure.
At this point, there's supposed to be these intimidating guys coming in with Fidel Castro, and he flips the light up, and he's got a big eating grin on his face,
Yep.
right? And he's this white dude,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You just gave it all away.
what are you doing, bro?
This is why we all agree that it should have just followed the crew the whole movie as opposed to him, because the crew was 10 times better.
I've got lots of feelings about Tom Arnold. We'll get to when we do the Tom Arnold Patreon episode.
Did he wrong you?
No, I've never met
Kind of.
Tom Arnold.
Was there a head-to-head like face-off for Roseanne or something back in the day?
All right, here's a good. Here's a
Well,
good
she
example.
was
So
pretty-
he comes in and Fidel, they like pretend to be Fidel, so they let the prisoners go.
Right.
Right as they're leaving, the actual Fidel is showing up.
Shows
and
up,
shakes
yeah.
his
They
hand.
go, oh, so great to meet you.
Yes,
so great to meet you.
picture of Presidente.
And then, they treat
Come out
Fidel,
without their pants on.
but they treat Fidel like a moron, like he would just stand there and be like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, then the cut to scene. Yeah. It's like
they come
and-
back.
yeah.
Now they're back at McHale's thing like 1 second later after all the 25 minutes in Cuba.
Unloading everything.
Unloading everything, and they just got a shoehorn this emotional scene with this kid in out of nowhere, like
Yeah.
out of like all of a sudden, it's like my dad is dead.
Yeah. Bob's great present there.
You know what I'm saying? And now Tom Arnold's got to flip gears,
Yeah.
and go over there and have this emotional scene with this
Yeah.
kid out
yeah.
of nowhere.
He's
He's
a
still
good-looking
smiling when
guy,
he's
huh?
talking. He's still smiling when he's talking about, yeah, your dad died, man. It's all right, man.
We were good buddies.
We're good. We're good buddies, man.
He saved me. I don't know why. We all don't know why.
We don't know why, sir.
You honestly don't know why. Why at this point in the movie, out of nowhere, a brand new freaking side character shows up as his henchman for Tim Curry.
I don't know, but that guy was great.
Lord Farquaad.
Oh,
look at
yeah,
this.
yeah. The
That
guy
guy
that
was
got his ear shot off.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna have a whole new side
He
character now.
is awesome.
No, he was great. But where the frick?
Yeah,
has he been
why
the whole
wasn't
movie?
he there the whole movie? Yeah,
No,
that
exactly.
would've been-
That's another thing to that this movie.
You could have had a running bit the whole movie. You're just trying to abuse or trying to kill this guy, and he just keeps because first of all he reads the horrible note
Yes.
off the terrorist Amazon package.
Yeah.
Then he
Yeah.
gets shot in the ear.
Yeah.
Did I get him? No. Then he ducks and gets the other guy killed and carries him out.
I thought he brought his food in a dog bowl at first, and I realized it was a lid to
It's your lunch.
Well, they didn't want to overdo it.
Yeah. But all three of those gags were like within 10
Great.
minutes.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Like, we're going to get this guy in here. We hired him at the 11th hour, and we're doing all of his bits in the next 5 minutes of this movie. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah. They just shoehorned him all right in.
So I
But-
guess Veladikov had a one night stand with McHale
Here's what
because of the tattoos.
well, here's that's what I was just going to bring up. This is when we find out about the tattoo.
Yeah.
Where he goes in the way. He says, now, McHale had referenced earlier, I left him something he'd never forget or whatever because, they had a previous run-in.
They're
Yes.
roommates.
And he opens his shirt. It says McHale across his chest.
Yes.
But then on the back,
This name, this face, he'll never forget.
on his back is this giant freaking tattoo of Tom Arnold's face. But it doesn't look like Tom Arnold.
No.
It's one of the worst drawings of Tom Arnold
The worst
ever.
sketch.
No.
Okay.
It looks like he did it himself.
But what got me thinking about this is Tim Curry had to sit in a chair for I don't know how long
To
and
have this drawn on his
someone
back.
draw Tom Arnold's face on his back for 3 hours or whatever.
And
it
at
took.
some point, he's going, I'm questioning my career.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was.
Did the check clear?
That's exactly what I was like. That had to be a moment of really personal reflection for him. How did I get here?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's your job it's a Thursday morning and you're sitting in a chair getting Tom Arnold's face drawn on your back and you got to question things at that point, right?
Yeah. No,
Things
I
could be
would.
worse.
This is another let's shoehorn in a quick emotional moment because like, hey, come on, let's go outside and have an emotional scene together.
Yes. Sit on this rock. You sit on this log. We'll chit chat it up a little.
They had to put the scene in there to justify them getting together at the end of the movie because otherwise there would have been no scene ever establishing any kind of relationship.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Ever.
Yeah, no. Yeah, why else would they?
Right?
Right.
This scene has some of the worst acting I've ever witnessed.
Well, and
in my
it's
entire-
cringy because it's bad.
Yeah, it's cringy.
You're almost sitting there going like, why? I'm just being. It's like knowing that medicine tastes bad and you have to eat it. And you're doing that like, this is.
Why am I swallowing this?
And why are they green screened on the beach? Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Beaches are
I
expensive.
didn't understand that.
I couldn't find a beach
Was
to
it
sit
added
on.
later?
Maybe they had to reshoot it and add it in. They're like, nobody believes that Deborah Messing and him would get together, so they added it in.
They had to.
I don't know.
Or they forgot about it in the story because they're like, well, how do we make sure these two end up together? In the end of the movie, they're together.
Yeah.
Let's go back and reshoot.
Speaking of which, let's get to the end of this movie. They at this point, he uses the satellite, and he actually does fire off a nuclear weapon in the movie.
Oh, yeah, he's on the bad guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, he kills Hong and
the other terrorists.
all the other terrorists that like had hired him or whatever. And they're all on this video. They're like a Zoom call, basically. Okay. And all of a sudden, like, what's going on outside? And like, it all gets bright. But they all died at the same time. And I'm like, are they all in the same place? Isn't like one of these guys in China?
They went to the same place. That's why they're on the same video, because they had them all go to the one spot.
But they were all in different televisions.
Originally. And then the later shot, they're in the one television. And they're like, why are we all here? It takes a lot to get us in one place. You better have good news.
This shows how much I was paying attention.
And then he asks if their checks cleared.
It's hard for me to know exactly what's happening in this movie when I don't care.
Fair.
By this point, dude, I was so checked out.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? Did he just blow those guys up? Is that what happened?
All right, so here's the plot. Since you missed it, they were supposed to use this nuclear weapon to launch against the United States, where they had all these countries' leaders there.
Right. I remember him.
For the terrorism
Cobra
summit.
mentioned that. Yeah, right.
Right. They set it up nice and in a package for you. Mm-hmm. So these guys wanted to take out those guys. This guy double-crossed the bad guys because they were insulting him about being number 2.
Right. Many times.
Now he showed them.
Okay. And so, but ultimately his whole plan was just to kill Cobra, right?
Comedy!
Turns out the whole thing was a ruse to get Cobra to come down there.
Right.
So that he could kill Cobra.
Yeah.
Once the movie decides it wants to get to the end, it's like a sprint to the end.
Yeah, it's just hurry up, get the helicopter
terrible.
to land.
So all of a sudden,
ran out of money.
Binghamton shows up. He's like, I'm going to do this myself. And he's got his little band of like 6 soldiers he's going to attack this military installation with, right?
Yeah.
The flare gun.
With the flare gun.
Yep.
And the whole place blows up. And he's like, this is a great victory for
There
me.
was so much explosions. I'm kidding. There was nothing.
But they basically abandoned. So all the bad guys just left.
Yeah.
We never see them again.
Where were they? Right.
Because the rest of the movie, it's just Tim Curry by himself.
They said they resigned. Okay.
They all resigned?
They all resigned. All that was left was the psychiatrist.
Okay.
He shot me.
Shot me.
After all my years of service.
So he set up this elaborate thing and took over the villages and stuff to try and trigger a response from the Navy SEALs to bring Cobra down there.
Right.
Because of his blood feud.
Right.
There you go.
That's it. So Cobra, now you got Ernest Borgnine. They put old Borgnine himself on a helicopter. They're flying his butt over the water.
With another 6 soldiers.
With another 6. Here comes Tim Curry in his bad guy boat.
Yep.
Haha, you've all fallen for it.
You can't see me. I'm stealth.
McHale's got his boat that's all been rebuilt and remade. Now they got all the guns on it. His whole crew.
With nitrous.
The boat nitrous. I forgot. I forgot about the boat. Fast and the Furious.
Vin Diesel would be proud. Dominic Toretto would be proud of
That's
the
probably
boat.
where they got the idea.
Well, this came out before Fast and the Furious.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like 4 years before Fast.
I don't
No,
even
that's
with,
what I'm saying. Fast and the Furious got the idea from McHale's name.
I misunderstood you. I'm
Good.
sorry.
That's okay.
and even McHale's got his whole family on the boat as they're driving. Even with their boat nitrous, they can't catch him.
Yeah.
They're trying to catch Tim Curry. Tim Curry's firing his stupid boat missiles at the helicopter.
While the constipated sad kid is trying to cut wires.
Yeah, so
a knife.
Roberto is inexplicably in the boat trying to jam up the works with his knife in there.
Doesn't get electrocuted.
No. Well, it has a rubber end to the knife, right?
I don't know. Couldn't tell.
The knife was rubber. Every single time
That's what she said.
he fires a missile off his boat, it cuts back and there's 2 missiles there.
Yes.
Every single time.
Yes.
I
noticed that.
I did laugh when he fired the torpedo on one. All the cigars just plopped out.
I thought they were hot dogs.
They probably were, but it was great.
I thought they just shot a bunch of hot dogs out of the
Skip, not that
torpedo
one.
thing.
Glizzy, tube 1.
I mean, you can't put it past this movie. That would have been another sight gag that just would have,
It would have worked
that
out
would have
so
been
much.
hilarious.
It
on
would
the
have been
TV
hilarious.
Show. Yeah.
The first missile he fires at McHale's boat, everyone ducks down except for Deborah Messing, who intercepts it with an RPG.
Dude, that was hot. That was hot.
It doesn't take a lot to get you going, Bob.
That was the hottest thing in this movie.
Deborah Messing firing an RPG. That's all it does. That's all it takes.
That's it.
She was reprising her role on Will and Grace.
Yep.
That's He fires another boat missile. Again, never using the actual
I just
missiles
love
on
the
his
way you're
boat.
saying boat missiles. I don't know why. It's just
Boat missiles.
Another boat.
He fires another boat missile, and this one hits the helicopter. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're hit. And
Quick, life alert.
Borgnine's like, all right, take it in for a landing. There's nothing but water and like craggy rocks sticking out of where the frick are they going to land this helicopter?
He's Ernest Borgnine.
Okay.
I also enjoy, if you look closely, you can see the smoke, the fake smoke.
Oh,
Like
really?
machine or whatever is in there.
Shooting smoke
yeah,
out of
because
the thing?
Borgnine's jumping out and there's just a box with a tube and the tube is like pouring smoke out of it. And you're
Yes.
like,
They shot him right in the
Maybe.
smoke machine.
Oh, wait.
shot him right in the smoke machine.
What else
I
is
didn't even
funny?
think about that.
David Greer dives off the boat like a madman to save the kid.
To save the kid, right? Yeah.
And just
the
let-
kid saves him.
and then they leave
Yeah.
him in the water. Let's go get Cobra.
go.
But these kids are just drifting into space.
Yeah, just
Then they,
nah,
they're
get them
fine.
later.
they line up. They line up Tim Curry for the final torpedo. Like finally, somebody's got a torpedo. Okay. They fire off the slowest torpedo.
You got to do the buildup, man.
But bro,
With the Jaws cam on
because
top of the
first of all, the torpedo is like going normal speed, but then by the time it gets to the boat, it's like it is slowed almost to a stop. Right?
Yeah.
It's like dink, just in time for him to go. What the dick?
Yeah. Call back to the original
Yeah.
What a Dick line.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the military when they were running off the helicopter to go save Cobra, and this one guy just does this obnoxious leap in the background? He just runs and just jumps.
Oh, I can't wait to go back and never see that again.
The little things in the background that I catch, I just go, this guy just literally just does a giant.
All right, any of you masochists out there that are going to go back and watch this movie, watch out for the guy, the leaping lizard.
The leaping lizard military guy in the background of David Allen Greer. When David Allen Greer's on the beach.
You got to turn it up really loud. He's German. You can hear him go, "Mein Lieben." What the frick are we talking about? Oh, farewell ceremony. There's a brand new baseball field, even though literally this was just a cratered out military installation 5 minutes ago. We laid down some sod. Now it's a baseball field.
Hey.
Again. All right, he gets the girl. So this is the thing.
Yeah.
He pulls up with his motorcycle. He starts giving awards. Ernest Borgnine doesn't want to touch Deborah Messing's boobies. Just hands her the award. Everybody gets his motorcycle back, McHale.
Absolutely.
He drives about 2 feet up to Deborah Messing, and she goes, "I don't know what they say about fraternizing," which implies they're going to get together.
Yeah.
He goes, "Looks like I'm retired again." She jumps on. He goes, "Don't wait up for me." This is they're definitely not friend zoned. They're implying that they're going to go
gonna-
drive to
yeah.
the motel and
thumb kiss each other.
thumb kiss each other, Megaforce style, right? But I do love that they never actually kiss in the
No,
entire movie.
Not at all.
It's so great.
Couldn't afford it.
I'm like, "You go, Deborah." They couldn't afford it. She's like, "This is the price."
Yeah.
They're like,
Ooh, we've spent so much
already
already.
spent $42 million.
That was also Deborah Messing's reaction when they said you're going to have to kiss Tom Arnold.
She went, "Ooh." I'm going to have to go ahead and
playing
sort of
McHale?
disagree with you there.
Bruce Campbell? Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Bruce. We're going to bump you down.
Oh,
We're
if
gonna put
Bruce
in
Campbell-
some-
Bruce Campbell, he's in.
There'd have been a full-on saxophone, cue the saxophone, the whole
Sad
thing.
sax, yeah.
The wind blowing the curtains in.
More like saxophone.
All right, good Lord. Are we done? Is this movie over? It's over. It's time to move on to awards. Let's give this thing. We start, as always, with the Will Patton Award for Intensity. Okay?
Who is that?
This is Will Patton.
Oh, it's
looks
just so
intense.
blown out. I didn't realize. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow.
It is the angle of the lighting. Yeah. So
Nice.
I got hit
Will
with that
Patton, okay? This man here set the benchmark for intense performances, no matter what kind of movie he was in. Like, this is a ridiculous comedy, but if he had been playing the bad guy, you would have thought you were watching Gone with the Wind, because he would have taken it that seriously. This man came to play, always gave it 110%, and he is the standard by which we judge intensity. So who in this movie would you give the Will Patton Award for intensity to as somebody who displayed tons of intensity in their role?
All right, so I got Dean Stockwell for Captain Wallace B. Binghamton.
I was like,
He was 10 out of 10 the whole time. He went for it no matter how bad it was. He sent it. Full send.
He was not intense.
I did hate him.
He was just like
I did hate him in the movie, but for different reasons, I believe.
Kurt, who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award for intensity?
Tim Curry. I thought he still brought it, even though he couldn't pick an accent. I mean, the guy's amazing.
Bob?
Brian Haley.
Brian Haley. All right. I also went with Tim Curry, and David went with Tim Curry, and Mark went with Tim Curry.
Nice.
I guess Tim Curry gets it. Screw
Mark
me
said
for picking wrong.
Mark said he gave 100% the entire time he was on screen. He was the shining gem of the movie.
I thought he gave 96.2%, but
He definitely
But woe is me.
Dean Stockwell. You know his reaction to not winning the award?
he's dead, sir. He passed away a year ago.
Wait, Dean Stockwell's dead?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't stock well.
I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Dean Stockwell's family and anybody else that may be listening that's offended. I don't care, but
But the rest of you.
the rest of you,
I loved you in Beverly Hills Cop 2, Dean Stockwell.
I do have
R.I.P.
respect for Dean Stockwell, and this is why I was so surprised by his performance, because I think I mentioned I was excited when I saw him.
You know what
We
I'm
now
talking
move
about?
on to the Michael Dudikoff trash can full of dirt.
Tom Arnold. Eat a bag of dicks.
All right. Can somebody go grab the chair on the chair in front of the thing? Okay. This is the high production value strive for here.
Do we need help? Do you need help picking up that can?
Oh, God. That's a lot of dirt.
Yep.
That's dirt.
Ta-da! The Michael Dudikoff trash can full of dirt award goes to the actor who displayed the least amount of range and the worst acting performance in the movie.
Are we going to name this? Are we renaming it the Tom Arnold trash can full of dirt? Because I think it should. I honestly think it should.
We
I
just
would
got a logo made.
I would rather watch bring him back as McHale. I would have watched this movie tenfold.
So you're saying Tom Arnold?
Yeah,
You,
I'm saying
you
Tom
said,
Arnold.
You said Tom Arnold.
Yeah. Him and that kid that plays Roberto can all jump in the trash can full of
right.
dirt because they were both terrible.
I thought Dean Stockwell. I almost gave it to him, but I did ultimately go with Tom Arnold.
So it's unanimous.
Mel,
Mel?
who did you go with?
The only person I hate more in this film than Tom Arnold is French Stewart.
French Stewart.
Oh,
So look, Mark also voted for French Stewart.
Because he's pure garbage.
Yeah, he literally said not good. Always plays the same character. He wasn't funny at all.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're right.
yes.
He was terrible.
So I went French Stewart.
French Stewart. So 3 for Tom Arnold, 2 for French Stewart, and David Parkinson actually went with Deborah Messing as his trash can full of dirt award winner.
You know what? He's not wrong. I mean, she's just a slice of pie to look at.
She just had nothing to do.
She had nothing to do, but she's
That's
just good looking.
Which I don't think that's necessarily her fault.
Yeah. She had a job to do, look nice. You know.
Yeah, pretty much. So with 3 votes, Tom Arnold will win the
Yes!
well-deserved Michael Dudikoff trash can
so
full
good.
of dirt award. Yes. All right. So the next thing we do is our top 3 performances. So this isn't necessarily who you thought were the best, but your subjective picks of the 3 performances you enjoyed the most. Here, Dave Parkinson came in with Bruce Campbell at number 3. In parentheses, he says, Ash rules.
Absolutely.
Yes. Number 2, he had Tom Arnold. Oh, let me just check.
Can you lose this guy's email?
Let me check this back real quick. Oh, hang on. Let me see. What is that? Does that say right there next to Ash rules?
Yeah, that says Tom Arnold.
No,
That can't be.
that's Bob. You read it. What does it say? Number 2. I don't know. I need that still, Bob. I need it still. I don't have Mark Gusek's top 3 is on there.
Oh.
Oh, now we got to put it.
You got to
We
say
got any
something.
tape? Do you got any tape in the new studio?
You're like honestly, a nutless monkey could do this job.
There you go. You
Okay.
want that? Just slap him in the head with it.
I need it back. I seriously need it back.
Hey, Mo.
All right, so Mark's Mark, at the very bottom, it says number 3 is Ernest. I think it's Borgnine. You got the middle piece?
Yeah, I got the middle piece right here.
Ernest
P.
Borgnine.
Worrell.
Number 2, he said Bruce Campbell. This guy is a legend. Yeah, no, he is.
no.
One of my 3 actors I enjoyed the movie. And he says number 1 is Tim Curry. He always played a great bad guy.
There you go.
Nice. I still need, because there's another page. There's a 3rd page of stuff I have on here. Good Lord. Would Arnold make the movie better?
You know, after talking about placing Bruce Campbell as McHale, how awesome would it have been to just have Schwarzenegger as Tim Curry
That would be great.
Or
versus
Cobra.
Bruce Campbell?
Or Cobra.
Well, Cobra didn't have enough to do. That's the problem.
Yeah, I would like to have seen those two.
That'd be great.
I mean, have they ever been in a movie at all together?
Well, even if you kept Tom Arnold in the movie, have him be like one of the crew guys.
Yeah, because he was great with Schwarzenegger.
Then you get I think that's Mark even said that. You reteam them up, and you get the True Lies chemistry going. Like the only time Tom has ever been good.
Yeah, he was great in that movie.
Right.
I mean, when he does the whole bit, with him and the, where's page 9? That's hilarious.
Oh, for sure.
It must be a typo. Give me the page.
I think it'd be great. Don't judge me, David. You're ruining my personal growth.
Make Tom Arnold the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh my God, that would
Just
be
the 2 of them.
That would be
right.
great.
Oh my gosh.
Remake the movie.
Here's the thing. I think Arnold would obviously make it better. It's obviously a more watchable movie. It probably won't still be a good movie, but it'd be more watchable with Arnold. I just wouldn't want him to be in it.
You wouldn't
Well,
wanna
not as it
sully his-
stands now.
No.
Yeah. No,
I'm happy he's not in it.
Sure. But that's not the question at hand.
I know. But he would make it better for sure.
Absolutely.
What about if Arnold was the bad guy and then we actually got a fist fight between him and McHale and it was Bruce Campbell versus Arnold in a fist fight?
That would be great.
Be great, right? Yeah. And Arnold literally grabs him by his chin and is just whipping him around.
Dude,
By his chin?
I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger can crack the chin.
I didn't say he cracked it, but he could wield him.
Wield him by the chin.
Wield the mighty Bruce Campbell.
What's that toy? Like the whistle toy? It's like a snake whistle toy. Like,
Wah, 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 wah,
it makes that
wah.
sound. I don't even know what it is. Oh, God.
With his chin as it cuts through space and time, it makes that noise.
It time travels, just the chin.
Only to meet up with Chuck Norris's foot on the other end of the space-time continuum.
Hits Chuck Norris in the back of the head. Oh, what was that? Was that Bruce Campbell's chin?
You know what? He'd get out of it really easy. He'd just cut his chin off, attach a chainsaw, and go after it.
We have to decide, guys, ultimately, is this a good movie, right? Like with no qualifiers, it's actually a good movie. Everybody's wrong. The critics are wrong. The people are wrong. Is it a bad movie, full stop, meaning it's earned its reputation? Or do you say, no, look, yeah, it's a bad movie, but I actually really enjoyed it. This is a bad movie that rules. Where do you guys come down on this, Mel?
Bad movie that rules.
Really?
It's one of those ones that if it's on, I'm not going to turn it off.
Okay.
Not great by any means, but not horrible.
All right. Kurt, where you at?
There's a better movie out there I'd rather watch called Down Periscope.
Oh,
Yes.
it's Kelsey Grammer.
By far, way funnier.
We should do that one.
Well done. Knowing that this movie could have been a lot better, I'm calling it a straight up bad movie.
Okay. Bob, where you at on this one?
I'm with Mel. Bad movie that rules.
Bad movie that rules. Interesting. So
Just
you watch
because
it
of
again?
the crew. I would just watch the crew parts.
Just the crew parts. Now, this I have to put together because this was the notes from our people that wrote in. David, don't call me Paul Parkinson, said, bad movie that rules. I kind of enjoyed it. He says it's a switch off your brain, harmless fun. So he's kind
You
of in
are
line.
correct, sir.
He's in line with you there, Mel. Mark, though, Mark had some thoughts. This is a whole ass
I'd like
paragraph.
to hear Mark.
It's a whole ass paragraph from Mark here.
Well, it's a good thing you only have half of it.
That's right. I'm not. For those of you who are just
Which half
listening,
do you have, the
I have
bottom
a
half?
ripped up outline because I made the mistake of asking Bob what it said, and he
Had
just
you hand me the paper.
tore it to shreds.
It's a great comical gag right there.
Mark said, "Bad movie, straight up."
Well, you got to read the other part where it says it rules.
He said, "I actually had to stop with about 20 minutes left and save it for the next day because I couldn't stand it anymore."
Are you reading this upside down?
No, the movie was about 20 minutes too long.
We
exactly what I
talked
said.
about that. Yeah.
And some unnecessary parts in it. The missiles on the boat made barely any sense.
Missiles on the boat go whoosh, whoosh,
It's
whoosh.
oh no, he goes, it's a boat for this. I'm having to split this in half. It's a boat for the love of God. If the boat had torpedoes, this would be a completely different movie. I would rather watch American Ninja 2 again than sit through
See?
this.
That's what I was just.
Remove it from all space and time.
Never. The chin's in it.
I'm going to agree with Mark and say this is just straight up a bad movie. But it seems like it's pretty split. Like me and you said straight up bad, so did Mark.
Yep.
And
So it's
three people said bad movie that rules. So
I do believe that's a 3-way, 2-way tie.
it's 3 and 3.
Yeah.
2-way, 3 ways. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-way, 3-way.
Well, that's where we landed. So ultimately, it's a split vote across all of the voters. So we've ultimately landed nowhere. We've made no determination. You've wasted an hour and 35 minutes.
There's not even a hot babe award in this movie.
Oh, we got to get who's the hot dude award as if we need
Yeah, is
to
that
even know.
yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's
definitely
Bruce Campbell.
Tim Campbell.
Bruce Campbell wins the hot babe and the hot dude
Tim
award.
Campbell. Tim Campbell gets it.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's cleally Bruce Campbell. You're
Yeah.
going to give him the hot babe award
Yeah,
too?
absolutely. He was better looking than Deborah Messing. If Deborah Messing had less clothes on, and if I'm gonna get thrown, Mel's just looking at me right now. It's like I'm gonna throw something. If Deborah Messing had less clothes on, it'd been better for her. But unfortunately, Bruce Campbell wins both awards.
Now you're Sean Connery for no reason. I love it. You just switched your accents like Tim Curry did in this movie. Join us next week where we are finally flying back into Iron Eagle 3.
Wow.
Oh, I thought we were doing McHale's Navy 2.
Oh, is there McHale's Navy too?
No.
Only French Stewart.
No. So we're going to go military back to back, baby. So next week, join us for the third installation of Iron Eagle. Can't wait.
This is the third. So this is like your first trilogy you're doing?
Well, there's 4 of them. There's 4 Iron Eagle movies.
Wow.
So am I doing all the Tremor movies then?
Yeah. Once we get to it.
Those movies
Nice.
are awesome.
On behalf of Mel Vandy and Kurt Mummer and Bob Hauser, I'm James Hauser. Thank you all for listening.